So I was just, I've been trying to give Death Battle a chance recently because I really like their animations, and I was watching like the craziest video, which was Rick Sanchez versus the Doctor Who. I'm like, oh, okay, like it was pretty obvious. I think Doctor Who was gonna win. Doctor Who's been around like since the 1960s. I don't know. That character's been around for a long time. I don't think Rick was gonna win. But the very end credit, where I'm like, no, not again, and I decided to bring my boy MJ, and me and him was going to record some different videos. I was like, you know what? Let's just talk about this, MJ. How are you feeling about the recent announcement, the recent announcement of Goku versus Superman Part 3?
I mean, I just found out right now from you, and I didn't believe it. I had to look it up. I was typing it up a second ago. It's weird. Very weird, Like, I would have to imagine they must. Okay, I don't want to jump into what I think the outcome is. We'll talk about it a little bit before. I'll just say this: I think it's weird, and I do have an interesting take on what the outcome would be, which we'll get into in a second. But yeah, I just don't think it needs to happen, and it's just really weird.
I feel
like there's better battles out there to come up with.
Bro, I say this, right, is that, like, this has been my biggest problem with Devin. Also, when I say this, like, y'all go back to my older videos, y'all could judge me. I was a lot younger back then. I was going in. Y'all love that shit. Like, I'm a grown-ass man. I don't feel like, being that personal about it over some fictional stuff. But my biggest problem with Death Battle, as like how they usually do this stuff, that sometimes they pick and choose when to use a composite character. And that's always been my issue, because like me and like with most versus debates, we always are, okay, what is the version of the character that we're using? Are they bloodlusted? What is the location? Is it like, those type of things. But with Death Battle, sometimes they go full on, like, okay, we're going to use every version of one character, make a composite character. While on others, they're like, no, we're going to stick to one variation. It just kind of feels like, well, a lot of those Goku versus Superman fights, they was just trying shit for Superman to win. When I'm not like, here's the thing: if you know power scaling, comic book characters, if you go back to like when they was first created, are damn near unbeatable sometimes, because they was just written with nothing taken seriously. like there's some stuff where it just makes no sense. But there was so many times where, like, for example, with Goku versus Superman Part 2, they dead ass had New 52 Superman versus Super Saiyan Blue Goku. I was like, okay, well, Goku wins. You have the model there. New 52 Superman is not that broken. They proceeded to make this man composite. But recently, actually, I saw, because someone was like talking about how like the recent verses, they're probably gonna do like, I don't know, because they did Mario versus Sonic. In the first Mario versus Sonic, it was like Archie Sonic versus like comic Mario. Then the second one, they went video game Sonic versus video game Mario. It's like, why can we not do that for this character?
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, it's still very controversial that somehow Broly was able to beat Hulk and they didn't use a composite Hulk. So I don't know. Pretty much just repeating myself that I just need the ground rules set, because they don't put no ground rules. They just kind of say, here's the data for this character, here's the data for this character, who wins? And with Superman, it's like, he looked at the Infinite Book one time, boom, he wins. I'm just like, oh, okay,
right.
Bro. Like, that was the most...
Wait, which, to be fair, they did Superman dirty as well, because you're a big Superman fan too, right? A lot of their feats, from what I remember from the first one specifically, was really, and you just brought up an example of the second one, a lot of their feats were like just kind of like either they skimmed over it, or like they kind of like exaggerated, or they didn't hype them up enough. Like, it was a very weird thing where they were wrong on both characters, if I remember correctly.
Well, here's the thing: like, they was being misleading, because they was still like, they might have mentioned the video, but like they were just using so many limitless fallacies. Like they had because the whole listen to the Infinite Book thing. He had help from like a clone of himself, and they just used half of infinity is still infinity. It's like, you can't really be using that type of logic where that same Superman character gets his butt whooped by like a doomsday on the next day or something like that. It's like, when you start like using comic book characters and try to do the whole, that's their peak in every situation. I was like, okay, bro, like you're literally showing that it's not consistent, but you're hiding away from it because you try to push this narrative that Superman's unbeatable. When literally, like, nowadays, I see Superman Prime 1 million lose in the opening of new stories every other week. So like, come on, bro. Like, there's a chance that Thought Robot is going to come back and get beaten. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so this limitless fallacy is ridiculous, especially in comics.
it's like the idea of like you want to say like the Hulk can like blow up a multiverse, but then like in one comic book he's like getting beaten up by Wolverine or Spider-Man, or like they're throwing hands or something. It's kind of like, yeah, the idea of like if you want to use one feat but then try to do this or that, similar to like Goku Blue, who can one shot a universe, but yet like y'all want to like say he's trash because he got taken out by Sorbet's ring. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
it's like the worst, like, bro. I can remember, like, I'm scarred from this stuff because I can remember this like the back of my hand. I remember where Goku versus Superman won. I remember they did some weird calculation where they did Goku running on Snake Way and multiplied it by a made-up Super Saiyan 4 formula they made in their head, and like, oh my god, like it never.
I remember that.
But yeah, and then they did that whole movie event just to like, because I did a community post in my channel just kind of talking about how like this is not going to change their mind, but someone said like, listen man, Goku's going to lose. I'm like, again, if you use everything they got, most likely Superman's gonna win because he's an older character. But like my main thing is use a variation, because certain stuff that works with one character is not gonna work with other. But you're just gonna keep making these composites. It's unfair. But we're gonna see what happens. But like, so I guess we got to that point in the video. Who do you think is gonna win in part 3? Like, just be real. Like, do you think these motherfuckers like? Because you know how Vegeta fans be bragging and they be using like very misleading information to say that Vegeta's like 0-3 against Goku or something. This is gonna be like just Superman's 0-3 with Superman against Goku according to Screw Attack. Like, it's just ridiculous.
That's gonna be their streak, right?
Actually, even before you mention that, like, even to defend Vegeta fans, this still bothers me because the fact that they're going to use Heroes, Goku, with everything composited, why they didn't do that with Vegeta? They used one variation of Vegeta against Thor, and he proceeded to lose. When if he had Hero Scaling, he probably would have stood a chance more. So it's like, like, come on, man. Like, I know they're not the most perfect power scalers, but like, oh, that's so frustrating.
I would have to imagine, okay, if Goku does win this, it's gonna be the reverse where they're gonna do composite Goku versus a variation of Superman. So either way, it's gonna be like not equal, right? Like this is stats wise probably, because if you use like Heroes Goku, and for what people are like confused about, the reason why I'm saying Goku would stand a chance against certain versions of Superman is because if you go off the video games like Heroes and Xenoverse, like they're over there like one-shotting like timelines and shit, like infinite timelines, like there's characters blowing up like the egg and the whole timeline trees and like the god trees that connect all multiverses. Like there's all sorts of like crazy stuff happening over there. My bad. I don't know if I can curse on here or not.
Oh, yeah, we're already way past like the first 2 minutes.
But so I think TJ can agree with me on that. If they are gonna have Goku win this, it's gonna be like composite Goku who can like one-shot timelines and infinite multiverses versus like some variation of Superman that just can't stand up to that. Composite Superman probably and would likely win still, but a variation of him would lose to that version of Goku, right? So I just feel like, I don't know. Do you think they're actually gonna do that? The balls on them to do an 0-3, like 0-3 for Goku here, or you think?
Bro, these are the same people that had like, bro. I really feel like, yes. Look, also I gotta remember I'm a grown up. Let me think about my words correctly.
I'm not 15 no more.
Yeah. Like I think they know that they can do whatever they want, because back Goku vs. Superman 2, they already did like the most ballsiest thing ever. They just know that whatever happens, they're going to get the viewership they want. I think at this point though, whatever happens, and if you don't do it correctly, I think people are not going to care about Goku vs. Superman Part 4. Like, you know what I mean? I think usually Part 3 is the sweet spot of how much you can piss off a certain demographic of your fan base. And mind you, they've done other franchises, so like they don't really have to rely only on Dragon Ball. But there's a reason why that banner has Goku versus Superman on the very top. They know that's the biggest one they've ever made. Yeah. So it's profitable to make a Part 3, but if they do this badly again, because they did it badly 1 and 2, they did it badly, and like, because we all know that story, because bro, like they even made jokes about it later on when he was talking about how Deadpool says y'all cheated Goku. They did that later on, so like they've made it lore, and they know it. They've messed up, and they've done better power scaling ever since. Now they're using the Daijinshi. They're doing a bunch of different stuff, and not just saying TNT go go go. Like they're not just doing only that for characters now. So me personally,
I will.
okay, you go ahead.
I will say the only good thing that can come out of this, and I think you can agree with me, is that if they are going to use composite Goku and compile up the feats from the video games, Heroes, Xenoverse, use guidebooks, etc., the only cool thing that could come out of this, and sorry for the Superman fans if they do y'all boy dirty again, I don't know, but
Yeah.
if they do Goku good and use all those feats, Death Battle and like Versus Battle Wiki and all these places have a very strong casual group of like a casual audience, so that could hype up Goku a little bit better in the eyes of casuals and thinking that he's just like planet level still. So that could be kind of cool, but I don't know. That's if they do it right, you know what I mean? So I guess we'll just have to see what happens.
Well, also just humble Superman fans. Even though I love Superman, it's like when I realized that a lot of these Supermen that we held at like at the top of the top, Golden Superman, Prime 1 million, like the only Superman that's still at the top is because he's never been brought back is Cosmic Superman. Every top tier Superman has been done dirty in the worst ways in the comics. Like there's so many people who make funny videos about it. Like, bro, literally Superman Prime 1 million got like one-shotted like off screen. Like it was so fast. Yeah. So for me, like not to drag this too long, I think there's a very high possibility that Goku could lose again because I feel like they already made it clear that they don't really care about certain stuff, like at least for this one. But I think it's weird, right? Because if they go by the logic that Superman represents the DC universe, because like there's a lot of stories where they have that, like no joke, like the DC universe dies, but Superman's like logo keeps it alive and he brings it back. Like if you go by that logic, then we're not gonna do this because you can say the same thing about Goku. Like as long as Goku like symbol is around, he's going to like represent Dragon Ball. Like literally see a GT, literally see the future timeline. But I think there's a high possibility because even with Heroes Goku, their power is messing with the real world, our world technically in the Dragon Ball like Heroes. Like they're actually like messing with people. You know that one character beat in Dragon Ball Heroes. They say it's like affecting like them outside the arcade. That's how like crazy that verse is. But I think there's a high possibility that Goku could win. Because they could also just get people to shut up. Like even though it's still Goku has a losing record, even though we still think those other two videos are bad, I feel like this is gonna be like a hey nigga here, like just be quiet, like just there it is, like Goku won. But at the end of the day, these are still people's opinions, and this is a high production fan film. That's all it is.
I think either way, and this sucks to say, you kind of lose as a fan regardless, because either Goku's going to get hyped up tremendously and he does beat some version of Superman that they scaled bad, or they're going to wank Superman again and then also screw Goku over again. Yeah. Like either way, it's just kind of like, yeah.
That's what I meant by diminishing returns. Like we already made 2 bad videos, even though they're iconic videos in our culture now. It's like we don't really trust your scaling. And now that you're trying new forms of scaling, it's like, okay, are you gonna remember that Goku has a Hakai? Because remember he did Hakai in the manga, and he can still technically do it right now. It's like, are you gonna remember that Superman has like almost every stupid ability? Like the dude can literally do everything the Flash does without having the Speed Force. He actually can use his molecules and go through stuff. Like you're gonna remember all of that. Right. Which is almost impossible to do. Like especially when you go into Heroes where Goku has a lot more ability. So again, it's already a tough thing, and like no matter how this outcome goes, like we're all getting older, and like unless you're like under like 18 or something, or hell, if you're like at least 15 or younger and you want to rage about it, I can excuse that. But if you're the same people that watch Goku vs Superman 1 and you're grown now, don't go too crazy. Like it is what it is. It's just their opinion. You're gonna get people getting what people be doing their whole like back in the day, people used to just pick that giant X on videos and just say like this video is wrong. Yeah, I forgot what that's called.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's debunk. There we go. Everyone's gonna do their debunk video regardless, even if a Dragon Ball character wins or DC character wins. But that's how we feel. I'm gonna be doing a live reaction to it because I think that's gonna be fun content. Even though I swear, man, I'm just gonna see Goku get his head ripped off or exploded for the 3rd time. Like it, I feel like Superman fans got more on me than Vegeta fans at this point, because like Vegeta fans have been holding on to Vegeta winning for 1.2 seconds in the superhero film, while I can't even get correct scaling in a screw attack. But
you know what's gonna be fucked up, bro, is if they do Ultra Instinct Goku. And you know, in the memes is that they play the the Ultra
Oh
Instinct
my
theme.
god, yeah.
So that they do the dun, dun, right, but instead of it being Goku, he's gonna throw a punch and it's gonna happen with Superman. They're gonna do the dun,
Bro,
and he's gonna dodge
I
it, bro.
swear Goku goes Ultra Instinct first, which that's what they always do. Then finally Superman goes Cosmic. He's like, I Ben could do that. Like, because they always like to make a joke to make fun of the fans every single time.
No.
But that's all I got to say, guys. Check out my boy MJ. Do you want to promote your second channel as well, or you want to kind of leave that separate?
I'll leave that separate. Go check out MJ TV, man. A lot of cool movie and anime stuff over there. So.
All right. So we got more content coming soon. SonTJ, peace. Love you all.